Welcome to the Magma Classroom, our weekly digital painting study session in partnership with Wacom. This particular classroom series focuses on the basics of digital painting, starting with the fundamentals of value, shapes, light and color. We've done a good few apples and spheres already in previous lessons, tried our hands at some more interesting still life studies, broken down simple landscapes, and even run a gauntlet of timed exercises to speed up the learning process. These 1-hour study sessions are aimed at beginners finding their feet with digital painting, illustrators who want to tackle new subjects to grow their visual library, and more experienced painters wanting to warm up or wind down with something different from their usual work. I'm your host Ryan, the resident artist at Magma, and together we'll be sharpening our skills each week with a new subject to study. Top up your mug and grab your drawing tablet. While you wait, be sure to subscribe if you're not already so that you can stay updated about future sessions. We'll be getting started shortly. Dun, dun, dun. Hello everybody, welcome to the clubhouse. We're back at it again today with another study of some weathered metal. Should be a fun one. It was a nice challenge on Monday. We had a small turnout, so we're going to revisit a little bit of what was covered there, depending on how many people we get in here today. But I got a fun little object here for us to apply what we had done on Monday, which was just a sphere, trying to get some of this texture on there. Not necessarily trying to replicate the this sort of iron steel ball down here, but try and capture some of the texture that we had over here onto our own sphere. All right, so now we're going to try and do that, but onto this rather cute little chicken toy. This design is by Adrian Sanvisante. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. But anyway, this was just browsing around looking for some fun white objects to apply this texture to, and this came up, and I thought it'd be quite a fun one rather than just doing basic primitive shapes, the cones and pyramids and whatnot. Let's move on to something a little more interesting. So if you're watching, you want to join in, you can find all the information in the stream description. If you're on YouTube, but it should all be there in the description. You'll have to join the Magma Artspace first, and then from there you can follow the link to the canvas. And we have a bunch of available canvases down here in the sequence panel. If you can't see this, you can click this little film strip icon and it'll bring up the available canvases, and then you can pick one out for yourself. All users during the session will have Blaze activated, so you can test out all of our various brushes if you want to. We're going to play around with a bit of texture. These chalky ones might come in handy. And yeah, people who haven't claimed this already, who spend more than half an hour on the canvas with us, will also get 7 days free Blaze. That's as part of our partnership with Wacom for the months of July and August. They're also celebrating their 40th birthday, by the way. Just by the way. All right, so what I'm going to be doing here, let's put the music up a little bit. Get my headphones on right so I can hear it all nicely. I'm being attacked by the microphone. I forget how far this peak sticks out sometimes. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is just actually get down the shape that we have here. You can sketch this in, or you can Ooh, I keep forgetting about this. I'm testing out a new setup for my express keys on the tablet, trying to find a more efficient way to work, because I've got all these functions available and I tend to just reach for my keyboard. So now I want to try something a little different. Let's make this a bit smaller. And yeah, I want to sketch this out on this layer. This ball here is from my last session on Monday. Something I might pull from as we go along. It's the benefit of doing sphere studies like this. You can get the sort of lighting situation that you want, apply the texture to the degree that you wanted, and then you can just color pick as you go when you start applying it to your object. Normally, I recommend that people don't color pick from the reference material, but put in the time to figure out what we're seeing and how to find that on our own color wheels. So anyway, here we go. Let me just check something here quickly before I dive in. There we go, cool. Coolios. So, I mean, it's quite a simple little shape. It's like a jube, jube. Or rounded kind of base. I shouldn't be taking such sketchy lines. Chicken scratching, sketchy lines. I suppose it's appropriate for the subject we've got here. Just lightly doing it because I'm going to fill this in with paint shortly. So I'm not worried about perfectly accurate lines. We're going to be painting. We're not going to be doing tight illustrations. I see we got a couple of people joining on YouTube viewing. I think those are on YouTube, and it could be on Twitch as well. Welcome. If you want to join along, check the stream description. All the deets are there. If you are on Twitch and you need links to join, just let me know if you want to jump in here. Yeah, just placing them. I'm just using the sketch to sort of place things out. Sitting on this pillow. We'll get to the actual texture side of things in a moment. Here, I could actually drop this down a little bit. So it's a pretty simple shape, but it's just a bit more fun than a mere sphere. So on the reference, he is a bit flatter. Or plumper. It's a little more squarish than I made him here. This will do. So what we do see, we got to take note of what we're seeing in the reference first. This should be a bit lower. We know that our lighting is coming from this direction, so all of our shadows over here, and slightly above, because we've got a little cast shadow down here. And that's as much as we really need to pay attention to in here. I'm gonna make him a little wider. Little transform. And we go back to the brush. And we've got some shapes being made by our shadows, of course. So if we zoom in, yeah, we've got some clear shapes that we can work with, like under the beak. and sort of much dark over there. Yeah, and a lot of this you can approach in exactly the same way you would with a normal sphere if you're doing a basic lit sphere, right? Okay, so let's fill things in. Now I do want to go for this sort of metal bowl look. So on a new layer underneath my sketch layer, I'm going to grab a different brush, which doesn't really matter what I go for. I will take I'll take my thin flat brush to start, and I'm going to go with a sort of mid bluish color for the metal. And I'm just going to fill things in. And what's up, random person? Random persons? Yeah. So feel free to grab a canvas down below. You're already at it. You're already at it. You've been here a little while. Anyone else watching wants to join along, come on through. You're going to spend the next hour working on this, trying to get a nice, slightly rusted metal chicken. Whether it's going to be successful or not, we'll see. We'll see. The idea, though, is not to get perfect drawings. The idea is just to study, go through the thinking process, have some fun. It's a study. The stuff that appears in your sketchbook doesn't have to be perfect. And yeah, I suppose we can do the same with the pillow. I wasn't really going to add that in. Just want to fill it completely because it's going to be easier to apply a bit of texture in a moment. If you have a neat silhouette that you're happy with, you can create clipping layers on top of that, which means that you don't have to paint outside of it and damage that silhouette. If I want to test it, let's turn off my sketch layer. Yeah, it could be a little neater about things. So the type of brush I'm using doesn't lend itself to the perfect outlines. Okay, so now what I can do is create a new layer, and then using the shortcut Control-Alt-G, or this little toggle clipping group button next to the lock, that creates a clipping group. So now I can shade this really easily. Take a bigger brush. Let's go with a rougher one. Go with one of the chalky brushes. And if I make that quite big, because I've got it on a clipping group, so dark color, shadows, I'm going to go with cooler shadows. Gain slightly in saturation. But because I've got this clipping group, right? See, nothing goes outside that silhouette from the layer below it. So that means I can block things in a little quicker without worrying about what I'm doing to my silhouette. Now, obviously, gone a bit overboard here. To demonstrate. And yeah, I'll soften all of this up. Hey, Mountain Pirate, welcome, welcome. Even this change in value is way too high for what we've got. For if you're following this exact reference, right? Because it's a white object in a well-lit environment. But we're changing things up a little bit here. If I get some of these shapes that I see in here, that's a little rounded there too. And yeah, things are a bit lighter here. Just getting basic shapes in. All that texture is going to come later. Here we got some light too. Dial this back a little bit. And then for the light, so we're going with cooler shadows. Let's go with well, then obviously our lights are going to look a bit towards the warm side, but not gaining too much saturation or anything. Just a little. That might be too much. Let's come down. It's a warm green light. That's really quite strong, so I want to come down a bit. And that's too green. There. Correct, you are, Mountain Pirate. We're trying to just apply this texture that we were practicing on Monday. This weathered metal texture to our little bird friend over here. As I mentioned earlier, I thought it would be a bit more fun than just putting that onto more basic shapes stacked together. I was going to pull something from one of our previous white object studies, but yeah, I thought this would be a bit more fun. There's lots of space still, so if you are watching, you want to join in, follow all the deets in the stream description, and you can come grab a canvas down here. Then we've got a bit of light in here too. We're not worried about neatness. Let's get some orange. Let's get some rust in here. How are we going to do it? So I'm going to try and follow a little bit of this shape that's on here. It's also going to follow the light. Yeah, it's a very cute, very cute toy. The name of the designer is just to the left of it there, Adrian San Vicente. Okay, Pokev, just too much Poco. Just going to be watching this time. Nice. So let's just get the basic shape of the rest of it first. We're going to have some rust coming down the beak. Maybe a little bit by the eyes. It's bits where water sort of like would collect, right? A bit bigger. Get this bit bigger. I'll push a lot of this back. It's a process, it's a process. Ah, yeah, I'm gonna go watch the replay of that. Is that the sci-fi one that's happening today? With Nikolai Locketson? That's not to be missed. For those who don't have a school subscription and you're here, good to have you. Good to have you. So I'm just adding in texture. Hey, it's not. Even use some other brushes. I'm using just the chalky brush here, but we could go for things like our splatter brush. Might be nicer to do on a separate layer. Scroll down here, let's have a look. We got a splatter layer. Get a bit of, obviously, splatter. Look in here, it's got this, like if you had laid lots and lots of little specks on top of one another. Let's see. Need to blend things in a bit. Let's change my brush, because I got no form. Probably should have run the form through in the beginning. Just so we can get that blending going. There's a lot of back and forth like this on a piece like this. It's a normal. So what I ultimately want to get is this sort of pattern in it. It's going to be tricky. Dun, 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 dun. It's gonna look like this bird is crying. That's where the rust is gonna be. And to just, I want this background to just stand out a little bit more. Oh, a little bit here. Right, I have to do this on the right layer, don't I? Right, attack my microphone. So yeah, the where rust forms over time is that's an interesting question. So I'm thinking of there's a few different things that are going to influence it, like where moisture is going to collect. So I'm thinking if we zoom in here, looks quite messy at the moment. It's going to like follow some lines and pool in certain areas, like under here. If water was running down, let's my brush. Nope, not like that. Let's do it on a new layer. If water were to run down, where would it go? So we're going to run over like this and then down like this. And same here, some of it's going to run in like that, come down and collect in some of these grooves. And those sort of grooves where you're getting water pooling is where you're likely to get rust starting, but also where there's been damage. If this thing's been hit with another stone, for example, and there was like quite a big dent here that damaged, scratched the surface, that area is going to be exposed. It's going to start oxidizing sooner. So it depends. Mostly you want to follow like those areas where water would kind of pool, because water slowly but surely sort of degrades the surface. So you want to kind of follow those lines, and then that rust is going to follow the way the water would continue if it were running down. So if it came down here, hit the surface, and then ran down like following the form, you're going to have your rust stains following that same sort of pattern. Hopefully that makes sense. Ooh, okay, so if I turn off my sketch layer, all looks rather meshy. You're welcome. You're welcome. I need to do this on a different layer. Ooh, I'm taking a long time to move through this. Have a little bit of light bouncing up in here. I was trying to think with the rust that it's also going to follow what the lighting is doing. So we have to think about that too. So like here on the shadow side, it's going to be quite a bit darker perhaps. Well, not perhaps, it will definitely be darker. Who's pinging me? Ah. So here as well, probably gonna be a little bit darker. Here, if we've got some rust starting, it's gonna be quite dark in the shadow. Probably try to go a little too complicated here. Crazy music. So let's see if I put my ball here. This is tricky. I haven't done an exercise like this for some time. Let's change the music a little bit. I gotta have that shadow under here. Make the beak stand out. It's gonna be a bit darker here on the side. A bit desaturated rather. This is darker. Yeah, so where water would collect and evaporation would occur. That's where it's going to be happening. Change brush. Can we... right here. This is quite difficult. This is quite difficult. What have I got myself into? Let's clear that line first. Clear this one. King Blue, yo, thanks. We're having ourselves a interesting time here with this one. Very interesting time. Yeah, I'd have to do a few more studies actually to see more of the patterns of how rust forms over different objects. I don't think I've done enough studies to speak too confidently on the exact behavior. Yeah, you and me both with needing to speed up. I'm also really slow with this. Actually, yeah, lately I've been finding the 1 hours being a little bit too short for me. So I don't know if I've done this all that successfully. Slowly, we'll build it up. Let's lighten up the other side here, maybe. Okay, it doesn't need to be that light. I think that's a bit excessive. Oh, how are we 40 minutes into this already? This does not please me at all. normally better to build up that metallic look before you go into adding in not the metallic, the metal look before you start adding in the rust. Generally when I've painted orbs, that's kind of been the better approach. Yeah, this is all quite light over here. It's not looking very metally, hey, is it? Kind of makes me want to start again. Actually, give him one super big eye, maybe. Why is my brush so small? I show you. Let's push this back a little bit. Yeah, so it's tricky to get all this texture in. Keep the form looking right, and the values. Why did I change layers like that? That's weird. Oops. I'm going to duplicate this one and shift it to the side. So I might need to take another crack at this, try a different approach. I don't feel like I handled this very well. Not sure what my deal is this week. Interesting. I also expected this object to be a little easier to tackle. But nope. Nope. Here's a challenge for you. And it's amazing how if you start getting your lines wrong with the flow of rust, if it doesn't follow the form of the object that you're painting, it's very noticeable. And just nothing will look right. So like I had some rust like flowing a little bit this way in a weird way. And yeah, that made things look a little funny. Let's change that music. So let's see, I'm going to this. I'm going to trying this a little differently. We'll spend a few extra minutes here. Ooh, I've also merged down my sketch layer. Haha. Okay, so weird. Let's be faster about this. Grab my chalky brush. I'm going to set a clipping group. Okay, let's go for better sort of iron. But things when iron actually, it starts rusting off a bit warmer. Let's try it this way. I'll put a cool light on it. In the shadows, gain a little bit of warmth here. Yeah, keep it desaturated with shift. Cooler. Let's change that music. Silly thing flying at my nose. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, just smooth it out a bit. A different approach. I mean, I could probably salvage what I had started there. Let's adjust this silhouette a little bit. Try and get the shapes in. Wonder what these fellas are whistling at. Sometimes, yeah, you just realize like, you didn't approach this well from the beginning, and you just gotta start again rather than spend all the time trying to salvage the piece. But we don't have much time left, so I better figure it out fast. What are we doing with the light? We're going towards a bit cooler. I don't think I've issued any hydration reminders during the stream today. Drink your water. Drink your water. No death by dehydration on my stream. No. No. Have that. Make this bigger. Figuring out all the things. How are you guys finding this? Hopefully, at least as challenging as I'm finding it. Gonna have to go paint a nice shiny apple just to feel like I can still painting it. Oops, wrong layer. Yeah, gotta stay hydrated. Is it also getting late in your neck of the woods there? Too much Poco? Must be close on midnight by now? Or I don't know. Something like this. Maybe it's only 2 hours or something after where I am. I lose track of the time zones. This World Time Buddy website has become a good friend of mine. I'm using it a lot with him to schedule meetings and figure out what time the stream is in this time zone and that time zone. Almost 1 a.m. Okay, I think I'm ready to start adding in a bit of that rust now. I was never going to get to it. I don't want to go as overboard as I did the first time around. Let's see, let's just finish this up first. Have I got the form of this right yet? Yeah, let's have a look. Whoa, we're at the end of the hour. Marshay. That was not the most successful study for me. Well, I suppose I learned that I did things wrong. Did things wrong the first time around. Which has value. That has value. I do still want to add a bit of background here. Yeah, maybe we're gonna have to spend a bit more time on similar ones. Not giving up yet. Not giving up yet. I normally find that I'll be doing other tasks today instead of drawing, and that it takes me quite a while to get into things. So yeah, sitting down like, okay, cool, study time, which I mean, I suppose the purpose of the study is also to kind of get yourself in the groove and all warmed up for the rest of the painting that you want to do through the day. But that I don't always get the kind of results that I want here, because I'm still getting comfortable with my tablet and the arm movements. Doesn't help that I've been trying a new setup for, not a new setup, a new, how would you say, combination of sorts or settings for my tablet. Because my body has not been enjoying the way things have been set up at my current workspace. So for a long time, I've never really bothered with the express keys on my tablet because, you know, with the right desk, keyboard is right there. There's no need to use the express keys. But now, because the chair I'm sitting on is so much lower than my table, it's quite uncomfortable to have my hand at the keyboard. So with my tablet, you know, it's got 8 express keys. It's Intuos Pro, but it's also got the touch ring you can program different functions into, and you can do the on-screen menus, which is actually the main thing I've been trying to just see if I can put that to good work in my workflow. Because normally I have quite a simple set of tools. Like, on-screen menus, I don't need that. But now I see a need. So I've actually programmed one of my keys to bring up a menu that is assigned to the numbers 1 through 6, so that I can switch between tools over here. I'm going to mess this one up. It's got some quirks. It's not the most... I haven't got it fully figured out yet, but that's been a nice way to just flip between my brushes. So if you're watching and enjoying, hey, where were you guys? Except for too much poker. I know. What you up to? I'd be curious to know if anyone's actually just following along on their own canvas, the stream, not the classroom side. Oh, we do have Ruddock here. Nice. Let's have a look at what's. Ooh, good job. That looks far better than my attempt. Really nice. Let's see what else we got here. Random persons. Also, great job there. Nice texture. I was playing around with those brushes. This is hard, yeah. This is hard. Oh, looking good. Mountain part. Looking like a nice 3D object. Cool. Well, let's keep going for a while. Wife's busy teaching. I don't have anywhere to be. So we keep going. I've selected. That's not the one I want to use. Okay. Go back here. It's better. Okay, and we're gonna get a little darker in here. Make the brush smaller. It's gonna be dark in here. Nice dark piece there. Nice dark piece there. I mean, I actually do have things I need to do. Busy with an article on exactly what I was chatting about now, this thing of optimizing the tablets and all these features you get on some. But I think I've been sleeping on this whole on-screen menu thing that Wacom's got going. Also, the only tablet brand that has that, as far as I'm aware. Haven't seen it from any others. Actually, there's one brand I need to check on that. There might be one. Doesn't matter, Wacom did it first. Only a few more weeks until Ahsoka comes out. I realized the other day that during the clubhouse, I have not spoken much about Star Wars. Not much at all. Don't know if I should be worried, if people should be proud. Okay, let's see. Maybe I can add in. Start adding in some rust. Come on, Ryan. Come on. Maybe I won't go as ballistic here. First, I want a shape. Okay, time to change the music. Let's go into the tavern. I came across this band earlier. Is it Windrose? It's like this dwarf metal band. I mean, like dwarven, like the race of dwarves, fantasy. And what's the one like? I am a dwarf and I'm digging a hole, in the whole like mosh pit, the whole crowd that's there is just making these digging motions. It's fantastic. They're so dangerous, these metalheads. It gave me a good chuckle seeing them. Let's change tools. Splatter. Let's make it small, but increase the spread. Oh, yeah, a dwarf and up there. Oh. What am I using here as an eraser? Let's make this. Aha. So I think because I'm just sitting here quietly trying to zone into this, I think I'm going to end the stream, seeing as we have gone well over the time. But I'm going to stay here, keep drawing. So, yeah. If you are listening and not drawing, sorry. You've just been listening to tavern music with us. But yeah, hopefully you guys had fun and found it nice and challenging. Trying out some weird techniques there, Mountain Pirates. Get some fun colors. You're playing around with the modes, with the layer modes, I see. Okay. Nice. Yeah, great job, random persons. It's also looking great. Radix still there. Cool. Alrighty. So next week we're shifting to a reptile study, if I'm not mistaken. No, we're doing octopi next week. I thought that would be quite a difficult one as well. Lots of interesting textures and colors that we can play with, and such unusual, beautiful creatures. So we'll have ourselves a jolly time trying to paint a darn octopus, and we'll try and copy the reference that we have there, rather than this sort of approach, which is more like trying to apply something that we'd put on a simple form already, transferring that onto something a little more complex. It's a bit more challenging. But yeah, thank you very much for joining, those of you who did. We'll chat again soon. Today is Thursday. Yeah, so the next stream will be next week, Monday's classroom. And with that, I bid you... Come on, change the tab. I bid you all a fond farewell. Have a lovely weekend, everybody. See you soon.